Guys, what's going on? It's Joe from GadgetryTech.com, and this is a big day because we're talking about wireless headsets for Xbox. I'm excited for this review. I love talking about gaming headsets. I frequent Discord servers because I always want to help people find the right one for them. So finally, this has come together, and I can talk to you about these 6 awesome models behind me. Half of these were sent to me for review, so thank you to TurtleBeach, Corsair, and LucidSound. I did purchase the SteelSeries Arctis 7X, the Astro A20 Gen 2s, and the HyperX CloudX Flight because I really want to cover a good range of headsets in this price range. So with that being said, for the format of the video, I'm going to start with features of each model, teach you a little bit about it, then we're going to do a head-to-head mic test, talk about sound quality and build quality, all the stuff that you enjoy, feel, touch, hear when you actually use the headset, and then give you some final thoughts at the end. And hopefully, by the end, you know which is the right one for you. So with that being said, let's start with the TurtleBeach Stealth 700 Gen 2 and go from there.
The TurtleBeach Stealth 700 Gen 2 retails for $150. It connects directly to any Xbox One or Series S/X with no adapter needed. There is no 3.5mm jack on this headset, so a headphone cable connection option is not possible here. If you want to purchase this for PlayStation, the only option is to purchase the PlayStation version, which is also $150. A unique feature in this price range is that the Stealth 700 Gen 2 has a built-in Bluetooth transceiver using Bluetooth 4.2 with an SBC codec only, which allows you to simultaneously pair to a PC, phone, or tablet at the same time you are connected to Xbox. The Bluetooth mic connection could be used as a Discord chat option, which will work simultaneously with gameplay audio from Xbox, but expect lower quality mic sound on Discord than what you hear on our mic test when directly paired to a PC. Bluetooth sound quality is excellent, however, and surprisingly low in latency when you are not on a Bluetooth call. You can also purchase an Xbox wireless adapter for Windows if you want a direct connection to PC without the lower mic quality performance that you get in Bluetooth mode. The Stealth 700 Gen 2 leverages Bluetooth by using an Audio Hub app. This allows you to customize the buttons or change settings on the headset to cycle through EQ presets, mic side tone levels, chat boost, superhuman hearing, noise gate, and tone level. Additionally, the app allows you to customize a single EQ profile by setting treble, bass, and dialogue levels. Without the app installed, the headset buttons are set up for master volume, game to chat mix, and superhuman hearing mode. The microphone here is flipped to mute and is not detachable. When flipped all the way up, the microphone essentially disappears into the left ear cup, so it still looks similar to the other headsets where you can remove the microphone. The charge port here is also thankfully USB-C, but the included cable is rather short, so plan on using an extra one if you need to charge while you play. The 50mm driver is rated at 20 to 22,000 Hz, and the battery is rated at 20 hours here, but expect upwards of 30 plus hours at normal listening volumes. Headset weight comes in at 453 grams, which is enough to clobber an unexpected intruder should you feel threatened. The HyperX CloudX Flight retails for $160, making it the most expensive headset here. It uses an included wireless USB dongle for connectivity, which allows you to have wireless audio and chat for Xbox One S, X, Series S, X, etc. There is no passive 3.5mm input here, so there's no way to use this on a phone, PlayStation, Nintendo, etc. Buy a different headset for those. The charge port here is micro USB, which is surprising considering it came out in January of 2020. Like the LS35X, there are no EQ preset or customization options, just the ability to adjust volume, game to chat mix, and tap to mute with a red LED on the mic boom, which is also detachable. Holding the mic mute button down will enable or disable mic side tone, which is basically the ability to hear yourself speak. The HyperX logo illuminates on both sides of the headset in a fairly bright green with the option to illuminate solid at all times, pulse, which is breathing on or off, or be off entirely. The battery life is rated at an incredible 30 hours with the LEDs off, but only 13 hours with the LEDs on. That gives you a lot of overhead for long gaming sessions or long-term ownership as the battery starts to wear out. The 50mm drivers here are rated at 20 to 20,000 Hz. The weight comes in at 298 grams, making this the lightest headset here. The Astro A20 is the surprise value entry here with an MSRP of only $120. It too comes with a USB wireless dongle which works on Xbox One, Series S, X, and Windows 10. For $20, you can actually buy a PlayStation transmitter and use that same headset for both, allowing you to have wireless performance on both consoles for $140 all in. There is no 3.5mm audio option, so wireless is the only way with this headset. Both transmitters do work with Windows 10. The A20 comes with a USB charge cable, which is expected for 2020 and beyond headsets, so I'm glad to see that even the cheapest one here has it. There are 3 equalizer presets built in with signature sound, treble boost, and bass boost options. They are not customizable, but I'm glad that even at 120 you still get the option to change your sound profiles a little bit. There is a volume wheel with chat and game mix options. Basically, you have a button on each side of the volume wheel to fade from game to chat, and the microphone here is flipped to mute. The 40mm drivers are rated at 20 to 20,000 Hz. Battery life is rated at 15 plus hours, and weight comes in at 318 grams. Next up is the LucidSound LS35X, which retails for $180, but it's been out for over a couple years, so it can now be found for about $146 to $150 on Amazon at the time of this review. It's also the only one here available in an all-white finish, not counting the PlayStation version of the Arctis 7X, which does not work on Xbox. This uses a direct pair feature to Xbox, so no dongle as well, but this also supports a 3.5mm headphone cable, which is included, and on the white model, the cable comes in white, which is nice. The cable means that you're allowed to use this headset on PlayStation 4 and 5 controllers, the Nintendo Switch, and anything with a headphone jack, including PCs and phones, if you're okay with being wired. The charge port here is micro USB, which is okay considering this headset came out over 2 years ago. There are no EQ presets or customization options, but it does have chat mix and tap to mute with the red LED on the mic boom, which is also detachable. If the microphone is detached, there is a microphone built into the headset, although it does not sound that good and should be only looked at as a fallback option. Holding the mic mute button down will enable or disable the microphone side tone, which is where you can hear yourself speak. Tapping the left ear cup is a quick mute button, which disables all noise coming from the headset. This is a nice feature if you need to ever quickly hear someone speaking to you in the same room and you don't have time to turn the volume down. The left ear cup has a ring that rotates to adjust game volume, while the right ear cup features another ring to adjust the game to chat audio mix. Battery life is rated at 15 hours, and the 50mm drivers are rated for 20 to 20,000 Hz. And this is the second heaviest headset here, weighing in at 396 grams. The Corsair HS75 XB retails for $150. It connects via direct pairing to any Xbox One or Series S or X console, so no adapters are needed or included. Because of this, out of the box, the headset only works on Xbox. For PC use, you would need to purchase an Xbox wireless adapter, bringing your all-in cost to $175. Without any 3.5mm connection option, this headset will not work on PlayStation, the Switch, or anything else via a wire or wireless. For PlayStation users, look at the HS70 SE and Pro, Void RGB Elite, and Virtuoso RGB Wireless and Wireless SE. This headset comes with EQ preset options, which are selectable by pressing in on the master volume wheel, which also doubles as a button. The presets are more of a signature flat sound, and then bass boost, treble boost, and then bass and treble. This headset actually includes a lifetime license of Dolby Atmos when connected, so I imagine some of the price of this headset is also going towards that. Atmos is an excellent app that in my opinion is a must for customizing this headset to its sound potential, but more on that later. The HS75 XB features a USB-C charge port, which is a must considering everything is going to USB-C now, so I'm glad it's included here. The mic uses a push button to mute control with an audible beep serving as the only indication of mic status. There's no red LED on the microphone itself to indicate you're muted, but this is the only headset that comes with a foam mitt or windscreen on the mic boom itself. Holding the mic mute button down will enable or disable microphone side tone, again, which is how you hear yourself, so this is a nice add. Like all but the Astro A20 and Stealth 700, the mic is detachable here. There are 2 volume knobs in the headset, one on each side, where one is for master volume and the other is for game to chat audio mix. The 50mm drivers are rated at 20 to 20,000 Hz, and the battery life is rated at 20 hours. Lastly, headset weight comes in at 330 grams. Lastly, we finish up with the SteelSeries Arctis 7X, the ultimate universal headset for $150. The new Arctis 7X uses a USB-C wireless adapter that features a switch for PC or Xbox mode. It's an interesting design choice considering this is the Xbox version, as currently no Xbox model has a USB-C port, so you are forced to use a USB-A to C extension cable, which luckily is included in the box. The PC mode will also allow you to wirelessly connect to PC, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch, both docked and handheld mode. This is the only headset that works wirelessly with the Switch. The USB-A to USB-C extension cable, which obviously is intended for use on the Xbox, can also come in handy when using on a computer or another device that doesn't have a USB-C port. Additionally, the Arctis 7X has a 3.5mm jack that allows you to connect any controller, phone, tablet, or any device with a headphone jack. This is essentially the ultimate in flexibility for wireless and wired gaming. Lastly, there is a share port or secondary 3.5mm port on the headset that allows you to simultaneously listen to a second audio source via the 3.5mm cable while using the wireless function. The share port can also send your headset's audio mix out, which is the intended function, so a secondary headset can listen to the same audio that you hear, which is something I've never seen on gaming headsets outside of SteelSeries. While there are no EQ presets to cycle through, the headset can be customized via the SteelSeries engine software for a custom or unique EQ profile, adjustable mic side tone, and even dynamic range compression. There is a chat to game mix style, which only works on Xbox connections, whereas the Arctis 7P model, which also works with everything but Xbox, substitutes this dial for an adjustable mic side tone level. There is a push button to mute the mic, which will illuminate a small red LED on the mic when it is muted. The microphone is also retractable if you don't want it in the way, but it is not detachable. Oddly, even though the headset uses a USB-C wireless transmitter for Xbox, which again does not have USB-C, the headset charge port is micro USB. It's a really odd design choice considering this is a brand new $150 headset that still uses USB-C in some regard. The 40mm drivers here are rated at 20 to 20,000 Hz, again like most of the others, and the battery life is rated at 24 hours. Lastly, the Arctis 7X comes in the middle in weight at 352 grams.
Okay, so that wraps up the specs and features of each headset, and now we're going to move on to mic tests. I do want to say that the TurtleBeach one was recorded twice because you can enable and disable the noise gate or background noise rejection. I recorded it with it on and off so you can hear the difference. Every single clip is about 11 to 13 seconds long, and after I say my little thing in the beginning, I turn my fans on high on my computer, so I'll flick a switch, have the fans run at full speed, and I hit shift on my Rocket Vulcan Pro keyboard behind me. It's just a mechanical keyboard. So the goal is to show you if there's any background noise rejection of each headset, while also showing you what the sound quality comes in through my voice. So with that being said, again, let's kick things off with the Stealth 700.
This is Joe from GadgetryTech.com, and now I'm speaking through the TurtleBeach Stealth 700 Gen 2 headset microphone. This is Joe from GadgetryTech.com, and now I am speaking through the TurtleBeach Stealth 700 Gen 2 headset microphone with noise gate off. This is Joe from GadgetryTech.com, and now I am speaking through the HyperX CloudX headset microphone. This is Joe from GadgetryTech.com, and now I am speaking through the Astro A20 Gen 2 headset microphone. This is Joe from GadgetryTech.com, and now I am speaking through the LucidSound LS35X headset microphone. This is Joe from GadgetryTech.com, and now I am speaking through the Corsair HS75 XB headset microphone. This is Joe from GadgetryTech.com, and now I am speaking through the SteelSeries Arctis 7X headset microphone.
Okay, so that wraps up the head-to-head mic test, and I'm curious what you guys and girls think, so shoot me a comment, let me know what you think sounded the best, the worst, whatever it may be. I'm going to give you a quick analysis on my opinion based off what I heard, and I listened to these microphone tests a lot side by side through headphones because, let's face it, if you're hearing this through a phone speaker or certain computer speakers, you may not get as good of a sound quality. So, with that being said, I think the standout winners to me are the Corsair HS75 XB and the TurtleBeach Stealth 700 Gen 2. Corsair has a lot of warmth and depth to it, so if you have kind of, a rich, sultry, deep voice and you don't want to lose all that jazz in your voice, that's a great headset to capture that. I don't feel like it neuters the bass in your voice in any way. It keeps the warmth going. The Stealth 700 Gen 2 sounds excellent. It's extremely clear, very open. In fact, when I did my Stealth 700 review in the past, people said it sounded better than my lapel mic, which was wired to a field recorder, an audio recording piece of equipment. So that was impressive. The Stealth 700 is interesting. So when you have the noise gate disabled, it sounds excellent. but it picks up a lot of noise. It's literally just a very good sensitive mic. It's great if you have a quiet room like what I'm in now, but if you are in a loud environment and your noise gate is turned off, just expect it to pick up the sound around you. It won't hide that much. Conversely, if you enable noise gate, it still sounds really good when you're speaking, but there's a very aggressive roll off for when your voice is tapering down. So it doesn't sound as natural. Going into the other headsets, I felt like there's the middle tier of microphones, and that's the Arctis 7X, which is a bit bright, can be almost harsh, but it's still very clear. The HyperX CloudX Flight is a really well balanced mic. It's not overly clear or bassy. It's just a flat, monotone sounding mic, but it's still very easy to understand. And the same thing with the LucidSound LS35X. They're right, good mid-tier mics, not stand out in bad ways, but also not class leading when you compare it to the Corsair or the Stealth. The only thing I did note on the LucidSound, there was an audio drop. I don't know if you picked it up, but occasionally there's some connection issues. We'll get into that on the performance side, but every now and then that happens. You may not have noticed it, and if so, great. I don't want to hide that, but I'm not going to try to blow it out of proportion either. Lowest quality mic here is obviously the Astro A20 Gen 2. It just doesn't sound as good as the others. It's closer to the walkie-talkie effect that some older headsets used to have. But when you consider the price point and how good it is in other regards, which we'll get into, it's a fair trade-off. Your friends will still be able to hear you, but don't use this as a podcast or a streaming mic. It's just not adequate enough for that. Okay, now that we've wrapped up the mic discussion, let's talk about comfort, sound quality, and build quality. What you actually get and hear when you start using the headset. Okay, now I'm wearing the Stealth 700 Gen 2, and I gotta say, it's definitely one of the most comfortable headsets here. The memory foam with gel infusion ear cups is no joke. I mean, they are very cozy, and the clamp force is pretty tight, so when you wear it, it's like having two really nice pillows pushed onto your head. So I do like the comfort, and then also the ear cups are removable. And if you have glasses, this is the most glasses friendly headset here because they have these little pull tabs. They call it Pro Spec, and basically what it does is it allows you to create a kink in the ear cup. So when you have a larger frame glasses, they can go right in over your ear in their normal spot, and you shouldn't feel any pressure on it. As far as build quality goes, it feels really solid, very minimal noise. It's pretty much mostly plastic, but the headband is actually metal, so I do like the build quality and feel. You could shake it around, there's no odd creaks or anything like that, and the flip to mute mic feels really solid. Again, it's hard plastics, but it's durable. They really stepped up the build quality because they don't want it falling apart on you. As far as sound quality goes, honestly, this is where this headset really shines for gaming. As a reference level headset, you don't want to use this for music production. It's not the most accurate reproducing a flat EQ, if you will. But when it comes to gaming, it excels. Now, the bass is booming. I'm not going to lie about that. The bass is very strong, but that does help with immersion on gaming. So if you like explosions, rumbles, etc., there's a few headsets here that do a great job of that, and this is one of them. So the bass is good. Now, to keep up with the bass, they modify the EQ profile of your mids and highs, and it's a little bit brighter. Now, this isn't so bright that it hurts your ears. Some game tracks, like certain sounds on Call of Duty, because these get pretty loud, if you turn them up a lot, you're going to hear things that can hurt your ears. But when it comes to competitive playing and footsteps and all that, it's important to hear those details. You don't want to lose that because most people buy gaming headsets for gaming. And from a competitive level, hearing details and footsteps, loot, when you're playing a storyline and you have NPCs around you or, computer characters, you just want to know where things are. And these do a really, really good job at that. So I love the sound quality performance. And again, the comfort is good. Build quality is really good. It's not excellent, but overall, I don't have any complaints. Very, very flexible. And I do want to point out that it tilts in and out, rotates, the headband twists. So there's a lot of good ways for this to fit your ear. And that about covers that. You're gonna like it. And I like the fact that, again, as I mentioned earlier, you can customize the EQ profile. So if you don't like the signature sound that it comes with by default, you can mess around with it a little bit. I found that the signature sound is still really good. And I like playing Call of Duty on this one a lot because the explosions are awesome and I can still hear everyone really well. All right, now it's time to talk about the HyperX CloudX Flight, which I really, really like. It doesn't have a ton of features. As you learned in the features section, there's no way to adjust any sound, but I found that the sound profile is really good out of the box. I don't feel like I have to adjust it or that I'm missing out. I feel like the highs are clear enough to be able to hear anything, but it's also not too sharp and painful to listen to either. Bass is pretty much where the sweet spot is. It's not too overpowering, and it's not lacking in any way. I feel like it's full enough without ruining every single game track out there. You know, some headsets you have to adjust it because a game is made differently than another game. So they went with a really smart approach. This is basically the headset that you want if you don't want to mess around with sound. You just want to put it in, plug in the transmitter, and get gaming. And that's about basically it. I do love that tap to mute feature because of that red LED, by the way. I love visual indicators because sometimes you forget and don't realize it. As far as build quality goes, this is a very basic looking headset. I mean, it's all black. It doesn't have any fancy things on it. When you open it up, you don't see metal anywhere. The ear cup design is fairly shallow. You have the leatherette look. So this is a more traditional looking headset. The only thing I don't like is this is the noisiest one when it comes to adjusting. Even though this is the most expensive one here, it's $160, it makes noises. I'm not editing that. So it shouldn't do that at this price. However, when you're wearing it, I don't notice any sounds, and I haven't found that it's affected the long-term durability because I've used this for a few months now. So again, not trying to hide anything, but I do want to point that out. I am really happy with it. Like I said, I found that it performs where it matters, and that's the game quality. You can still hear footsteps well, and I enjoyed my listening experience when playing with it. And once it's on, it's pretty comfortable. Because the ear cups are a bit more shallow and your ears actually touch the ear pad on here. This is padded on the inside. It's not as thin as all the others. It's the only one with a pad. Because it's so shallow, it's lightly pressing on your ear. So if you wear glasses, this may not be as comfortable as most of the others here because of the shallow depth, but it's a very light, comfortable headset in most cases. All right, now it's time to talk about the Astro A20 Gen 2, and this is a really interesting headset because, like I said before, it's actually the cheapest one here. It's only $120. You can't compare it with the Astro A40s and A50s because those are almost double the price of some of these other headphones. So this is actually the closest one. Sound quality wise, these are phenomenal for the money especially. They have really good bass. It's not so overpowering where it's muddy, but the rumble and the immersion that you get in the game is there. So I really got to commend Astro for how good the bass is. Also, the mids and trebles are tuned extremely well, and this still gives you EQ presets. So again, from a feature standpoint, at $120, I really like this headset. Now, where it gets let down a little bit, as I mentioned earlier, the microphone quality isn't as great. It's functional, but not a streaming or podcast level mic. And the comfort is a bit limiting. So I'm gonna go straight to that. The sound quality, I'm gonna keep it short. Very good sound, very clear, not fatiguing because it's not too sharp or painful or anything. And these actually get extremely loud. Connection's also really stable too. This has been the most reliable one here when it comes to wireless connection. They're rock solid with that external transmitter they give you. When it comes to comfort, these are weird, and I'll just leave it at that. So you adjust the headband by doing this. It's not a traditional headband mechanism, but I do like that they get extremely small. So if you have a smaller head, they can fit pretty well. Now, where it's let down is the headband itself. I don't know why there's a little notch in the middle, because the notch is too small even for most headphone stands. So I don't know if they did it for something like this, if you did a hook, so it didn't put a kink in it. But you feel that when you first put it on your head. Now, I've gamed for long periods of time with all of these headsets, this one for several hours per session, for many sessions, and I never felt that this notch became a problem. You feel it when you first put it on, like, wow, that's weird that that's there, but it never became painful over time. It kind of just fades away and you don't notice it. So again, it's an odd choice, but it's there and you do feel it. It's just not a deal breaker. The padding on this is rubberized, so it's kind of a weird, like, spongy rubber is the best way to describe it. Now, I do love the ear cups on these. These use a velour fabric, which is one of my favorites for entry-level headphones. They breathe well, so they're very comfortable for long listening sessions, but they don't make you sweat or anything like that either. And they still have good sound isolation, so if you're wearing this for a long period of time, you should be comfortable, but it does a really good job of making the most out of your bass response, which is surprising. They just tuned it well to where you don't have the typical drawbacks you get from a cloth ear cup pad. Now, it's traditional foam, nothing crazy there, but I found that it was comfortable and the padding is more than adequate. Build quality is actually really good. There's surprisingly very little to any noise that comes from this. When the mics flip down, very solid. Now, the only thing that's odd that I don't like outside of the sizing is how it adjusts to fit your head. You have very minor tilt, and that's it. There is no rotating ear cups. There's no weird adjustments you can make with the headband. It's literally just you slide it up and down, and then you hope that the tilt is enough to fit your ears. So the ear cups are not going to work with you this way at all. Hopefully that fits your head well. For me, it was fine, but this is the least adjustable headset here. The reason why I point this out is if some people, I notice they like to play with one ear, and you put the ear cup like this isn't as forgiving as some of the others because the ear cups don't rotate. So if you're a single ear cup wearing person, this may not be the best one for you. I do love the flip to mute on this. It works extremely well. Very solid feeling, and I didn't have any problems with the controls either. Again, just slide the volume and then tap to crossfade. It's not a fast adjustment for game to chat mix compared to the others that use knobs or dials, but it's tactile and very functional. So that wraps up the Astro A20. Again, it performs well for 120 bucks, and yeah, I can't really find any faults outside of the adjustability and initial comfort feel. All right, now it's time to talk about the LucidSound LS35X, and this is an older headset. Some things shows its age, you know, with the micro USB and no customization, but they brought the price down to make it more comparable with the others. Now, at $150, which is roughly what you get it for, you still get the gel-infused ear cups, just like the Stealth 700s. That technology, honestly, it's awesome. It does feel noticeably cooler when you put them on. They're just extremely comfortable for long term when you get a mix of memory foam plus gel infusion. Headband is stitched so that even though the padding isn't as plush, it's still more than adequate, and I didn't find any hard points. And then you do get the tilt adjustment, and they rotate a little bit forward, or outward I should say, and all the way back if you need to wear them flat. These ear pads are replaceable, and if you pop off the right one, there's actually a reset pin, which I thought was really cool. So if these ever crash, mine actually crashed on one of the firmware updates because I used an old cable, which is unfortunate, but because they give you a reset pin on the right ear cup, I just pressed that in and it worked perfectly fine after that. So I love that they give you that capability. Now, when it comes to sound quality and performance, I did the firmware update because I was getting some audio dropout issues, and it did seem to help. It's not perfect, but all the direct pairing ones here have some issues with Xbox Series X and the new controllers. Even the Elite Series 2 controller can cause some issues. So that was kind of odd. But when it was connected, this is definitely the loudest headset here. If you like to jam out and listen to music at loud volume sometimes, or just have a hard time hearing and you want more volume, these things crank. Bass response is good. It's tight, a little punchy, but it doesn't have the rumble that all of the other headsets I've covered so far have. Just to be straight up, this one and the Arctis 7X have good bass, but they don't have the low-end rumble that all the other four do. So when it comes to clarity though and positional awareness, I still found that these were excellent. I could still hear the enemy footsteps, and when you're playing a game, you know, the immersion helps with the rumble, but for the most part, you're trying to be competitive and find people and know where the enemy's coming from. And I found that the positional accuracy of these were excellent. Now, one thing I loved about the LS headsets from LucidSound in general, because this goes from the LS 10s, 15s, all the way up to the 50X, is these dials. I know they feel a little cheap because they're very light. There's not like a gel glide, if you will. It's just plastic. But game to chat mix is instant. I mean, I can just instantly turn them off or turn them on. And then I have the master, and then I love the way the tap to mute functions work. So ergonomically, they really knocked it out of the park with this. Sound quality is really good, very loud. This is probably the oddest when it comes to the high frequencies, because some stuff are very smooth and flat sounding, and then there's certain frequencies where if it hits just right, it can be a bit sharp. So it's an interesting headset. It's not perfect, but for the most part, especially at medium volumes, it's really good. Now, the only thing I want to touch on before I move on to the next one is I mentioned all the comfort and adjustability and everything like that. It's great. The only thing I want to point out is these are a little stiff. You know, when it comes to rotating, they don't do that too easily. And I'll show you an example. See, I can tilt them like this and I'll put them on. They don't actually turn and tilt back onto my head. So even though they're adjustable, you don't just throw them on and forget it. You kind of have to grab both ear cups and, you know, situate them on your head to make a good seal. Once you've done that, they're extremely comfortable. So again, it's just a little odd thing I noticed, but for the most part, work extremely well. And I enjoy gaming on them. Again, I love the controls, and overall the sound's excellent. All right, now it's time to talk about the Corsair HS75 XB. And this is a really interesting headset because out of the box, they had a ton of bass, but they also lacked more detail than any other headset here. They are basically have a big hump on the low end, and then it's flat and almost like they took away some of the highs and treble. If you don't like sharp sounds or really bright high detailed sound production because you just want a smooth, easy to listen to audio track, these are excellent. Now, where I mentioned earlier with the Dolby Atmos app, that's really where these things shine. You really have to tune them. I'm saying that right off the bat because I don't want the first impression to be like, wow, these are muddy, I can't hear a single thing. Tune it with the Atmos app. It's included for life with this headset. And I found that once you've done that, I was much happier with the performance of these headphones. Now, these have a very traditional looking design, you know, monochromatic, you get metal, you know, metal forks. The build quality of this thing is phenomenal. There's no sound, no creaks. It's adjustable. Again, not full rotation to lay flat on your shoulders, you know, like this, but enough to fit every head very comfortably. And these have pretty deep ear cups with memory foam. So when I put them on, super cozy, just, you know, they conform to my head, no problem. And it's almost like they're just floating around my ear because these the cups are so large. I don't feel any pressure points on my ear. So if you have a larger head or larger ears and you're just looking for maximum comfort, these shouldn't be ignored. Again, I just want to reiterate, don't assume the sound profile out of the box is what you're stuck with. The hidden feature is the wheel on the left side. Actually can be pressed in to change your EQ presets. Most people didn't know that, and you get 4 out of the box. I like preset 1 because I just use the Dolby Atmos app to tune it, and once you've done that, and either use the default detailed presets for game or music, or the custom one to where you tune it yourself. I enjoyed them a lot. And then, like I said, on the mic part, this microphone is phenomenal. It's a little bit long boom, but you can easily move it out of the way if you don't like seeing it in the corner of your eye. So I'm really happy with it. It has, again, tons of bass. If you like the rumble and you're more of a bass head, these and the TurtleBeach Stealth 700s give you the deepest, most powerful bass without completely destroying the rest of your sound. All right, now it's time to talk about the Arctis 7X. I'm gonna go with comfort first because when I put these things on, it stands out. There are not many gaming headsets that use this whole ski band or ski goggle type headband, which is basically a stretchy bungee, and it is super comfortable. Basically, the headset kind of disappears on top of your head because it spreads out the pressure so well. There's no pads to worry about or foam or anything like that, so they're really, really nice. The memory foam that they used here, this whole like AeroFit stuff that they call it, it breathes well. You can swap them out for a leatherette, but I like the material of choice here. It's a good balance of comfort, noise isolation, low temps, and it doesn't hold lint too much, which, you know, the Astros, they look really nice and they're comfortable, but over a very short period of time, you'll find that little fuzzies tend to stick to them like Velcro. So this is a really good balance of both. When it comes to build quality, it has the metal headband. SteelSeries kind of reinforced this mount mechanism a little bit, so it's built pretty well. Very easy to adjust, lay flat on your head, and very comfortable. This is the tinkerer headset dream. You know, if you like to tinker with things and you like wires and having different ways to connect your stuff, this is like the jack of all trades headset. Now, we covered that in the features, so I don't want to waste too much time, but I like that you can use these wirelessly on multiple consoles, or you can hardwire it, you can hook it up to a phone, whatever you want. So if you just have $150 and you need a headset that works on multiple platforms, this is kind of the one to go with because of its versatility. So it does come with the external transmitter, as I said, but when it comes to sound quality, it's really good. It's not as good as some of the others here, but I can't really fault it or say this sounds terrible. The bass roll-off is apparent in the low frequencies, especially when you compare it to Corsair and TurtleBeach. The deep rumble isn't quite there. Now the highs can get sharper, but again, I love that you can EQ this on the SteelSeries engine software. So once you tune it a little bit, I find that on a sound perspective, it's still really good. And when gaming, even on the default profile, which again can be a little bit sharp when you're listening to music, but for games that detail is usually preferred because you're trying to hear as much intricacy of the game as possible. So from a sound perspective, it's really good, but again, I would tune it a little bit. The microphone is a good balance, and again, you're really paying for the versatility of this headset and honestly the comfort. This is an extremely comfortable headset, and I love the functions as far as the game to chat mix and the volume. Very, very quick and easy to use, so I love that with these too. When it comes to microphone, again, middle tier there, and overall it's kind of like a no fuss, you might have to dial it in, jack of all trades headset. All right, guys, that wraps up the review. I hope you found this helpful and you got what you came here for. I can't tell you which is the right one to buy because your needs are different than mine. You might find that you like Bluetooth, or you like the versatility for multiple consoles, or the Atmos app, or the price, you know, so there's a lot of things to consider, and the goal of this was to help you identify what may be important to you and what you don't care enough about to make it an issue. So anyway, thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate you checking out the channel and the video. We've grown a lot, so I can't thank you enough. If you want to learn more about any of these, I have in-depth reviews of these headsets posted in the description below. So there's full YouTube reviews on those if you want to learn more. Also, if you just know after watching this that one of these is the right one, I'll put links in the description to help you find it. Whether it be Best Buy, Amazon, wherever the best link is, I'm going to have that in. Amazon one is naturally an affiliate, so it supports the channel but doesn't cost you anything extra. And as always, thank you guys so much. Be sure to like and subscribe because we got more good stuff coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye.